There is no denying this error made by the Spurs now, as they have been called out by multiple personalities around the NBA, including Bill Simmons, as it relates to Austin Reaves and his recent performances and how the Spurs missed out on something huge. We have to dive into the exact quotes from Bill Simmons, something from Luka Doncic, and a little bit more of a deeper dive into what happened there, but also looking at some of the good things, yes, good things that came out of that Lakers game. There was a lot of stuff we got to break down coming up in this episode of Spurs Digest. But before we get into the video, I got to remind you guys that you got to join our March Madness bracket today. The brackets are official. You can join for our huge giveaway for prizes. Check this out. We are pumped to be launching a March Madness bracket for the channel. We've partnered with the Hot Takes app and other Digest media channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. Just download the Hot Takes app, click the March Madness banner at the top, and under groups, select Digest Media Pool. This is super exciting as there's over $25,000 in prizes to be won. And since there's a much smaller pool than normal bracket challenges, there's a real chance you can win big. So check out the link below or scan the QR code to download the app, and make sure you use the code DIGEST, all caps DIGEST, when you sign up. You'll get exclusive perks when you join if you do that, guys. This is amazing. The main event round starts on March 16th, so get in quickly. Get in now. If you have any trouble, any questions about signing up, email us. The email will be left down below. Thank you to Hot Takes for partnering with us on this amazing competition. We're going to jump right into it, and I want to start here just by looking at the Spurs box score. It's not all tragedy, okay? Look, brutal loss. Biyombo did his thing. 2 for 3, 4 points. That's what I want from you, Bismack. But Chris Paul, 9 points. We know Harrison Barnes. Wish he could do some more. He's usually fine. But it's Stephon Castle. There's not many other good signs in this game. Look, we had that Sochan scuffle. Maybe that'll become patented come the future. The Sochan scuffle. He's always getting into it, but that's what I love about him, right? 26 minutes, 7 for 9 shooting, getting into a scuffle, getting under the other team's skin. I love Jeremy Sochan. Minus 11, but whatever. But it's the Stephon Castle thing again. Look, he was the best player. He was the Spurs' best player. 8 for 19 shooting. I know, well, maybe it's a hot take for me to say he was their best player. Maybe some of you disagree, but I'm a Stephon Castle stan. And you know what? He's my best player. He's my MVP every single night. So take it for what you will. I don't care. He's my guy. 23 points. Yes, 5 fouls. Look, the fouls and turnovers have been a thing for Stephon Castle all year. There's no denying that, and it's what's led to him getting some games where he plays a little bit less. Now, in this one, he played 28 minutes. He was second on the team, well, tied for second with Keldon to only Julian Champagny, which is saying something, as he shot only 2 for 8 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. Look, I'm not going to pretend I understand these rotations at this point, but you do whatever you can to try and get a win. Didn't work last night, but 23 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. We talk about the Rookie of the Year stuff all the time, but it's getting to the point now where we're going down the stretch of the season, and you can afford to give Castle these minutes, put the ball in his hands, especially without De'Aaron Fox, give him these starting minutes like we've been asking for, and look what he does. Or sorry, I also missed Devin Vassell's 34 minutes. My bad. I keep forgetting about Vassell sometimes. Yeah, he wasn't bad last night, but Stephon Castle was the guy driving the offense for a lot of it. Look, I know it wasn't the best game. I know there was some interesting stuff going on around the Lakers and this and that, but I just needed to highlight Jeremy Sochan being Jeremy Sochan, Devin Vassell being decent again, almost shooting 50%, and Stephon Castle being our guy. So just a little highlight. Not going to dive too deep into this, but on the Lakers side, there's a certain thing that has been circling in the media spheres. And look, you look at the Lakers box score. Look, Luka 5 for 20, yikes, but it's Austin Reaves. Look, 12 for 21. 12 for 21 from the field, 30 points. Luka had this to say. I mean, this guy just scored 30 in his 4th game in 5 days. He's an amazing player. For him to go undrafted is unbelievable. It's not easy to go undrafted and play at this level, and it's just amazing just to be by his side. So, what does this have to do with the Spurs? Well, I'm going to tell you, and I think a lot of you probably know where I'm going with this, because at this point, I feel like we can't deny it. I don't like to look in the past and say, oh no, what could have been? But we're getting called out. We're getting called out by guys like Bill Simmons. And so we got to address it here. We got to talk about this. I got really mad about the Austin Reaves thing over the weekend with the Spurs. I went back and saw what they used their cap space for that summer. It was Chetty Osman and campaign. And they could have had Reaves. Went on to say, made me so mad that the two Texas teams, have rebuilt the Lakers, the Mavericks and the Spurs. And what he means, of course, well, we know what he means on the Mavericks side. But on the Spurs side, he's saying the Spurs are probably not almost as bad, but they're on that same level there because they let Austin Reaves go. Well, what are we talking about? Let's go back to the original thing. A lot of you guys know this. This is from an article from July of 2023 from Air Alamo. Appearing on former Spurs Steven Jackson's All the Smoke podcast, Reaves talked about it, and Matt Barnes asked him, hey, what other teams had you considered signing with? He said, well, Houston before Fred VanVleet, and then San Antonio. San Antonio was there, and Bill Simmons seems to speculate, like, hey, the Spurs were like, I don't know, like, reminder, this is the 2023 offseason, so this is the Wembanyama draft. The Spurs are saying, look, we're probably a couple years away, don't want to dish out a ton of money. But at the end of the day, the contract Austin Reaves signed with the Lakers was really a great team-friendly deal, especially for this level of production this season. 19.6 points per game, 45 from the field, 37 from three. He's proven he can play with the ball in his hands. He's proven he can play off ball. 43% on corner threes. And honestly, 72% of his threes being assisted for the type of player he is not bad. 1/4 of his threes are pull-ups, basically, right? Like, on assisted threes. He's been unbelievable. And look, I'm of two minds about this. And I want you to start typing your comment right now, because on the one hand, I can't deny that this would have been a great move for the Spurs. And again, if we imagine Wemby's healthy at this point in the year, even the full year now, having Austin Reaves, he'd be the perfect complement to Victor Wembanyama, right? Absolutely. But on the other hand, would we ever get De'Aaron Fox if we had Austin Reaves? Some of you may say, oh, it won't matter on that contract. Oh, maybe we could have, whatever. But also, like, yes, the money's good now, but I also see what the Spurs standpoint was in the sense that you sign him to a deal, like a 4-year deal, you're still going to have to re-up him after that, and that's right as you're entering your contention window. So, let me just take a look at this. Here's Austin Reaves' contract. I'm going to make this bigger for you. Obviously, the 4-year, $54 million deal, extremely team-friendly, very team-friendly, making $12, $13 million bucks a year. That's crazy for his level of production, like legitimately crazy. I don't think there's any secrets about that. The problem, though, is he has a player option after next year. Like, he has one more year, really, before he has that player option. And what are the odds that he opts into that $15 million deal? I would say very low, right? Unless he's like, oh, I just love the Lakers. I want to stay with Luka and maybe LeBron if he's still there in 2 years' time, which he very well could be. That's possible. But at the end of the day, this guy's going to get offered like $40 million. Like, he's going to get offered a ton of money. So, on the one hand, Austin Reaves has been a phenomenal player for the Los Angeles Lakers this year. But the fact that the Spurs are still getting called out over this was before the Lakers game that Bill Simmons called us out for that. And then Reaves goes and drops 30 on our head. Look, the fact that we're still getting called out for this is crazy. Yes, I know the cap space was spent on guys who ended up making less than zero impact to the San Antonio Spurs long-term, and Cedi Osman and whoever the other guy was that I already forget who he mentioned. Campaign? That's right. Sorry, Campaign. Sorry, Cedi. But, like, I like you guys, but not that much. Like, yeah, that was the case. But signing Austin Reaves to a 4-year deal in 2023, we're imagining this now. This team might be better right now, might be better next year. After that, are you really gonna sign him like if he opts out of that player option after 25, 26, maybe you make a playoff push, right? Are you ready to sign him to probably 40 million plus after that? Like, I know it's tough. You could just let him go in free agency, but you could try and bring in someone else. Like, when a good player wants to sign with the Spurs in free agency, a lot of the time the Spurs, look, you want to go take that. You want to take advantage of that. And adding good players is never a bad thing. Plus, it accelerates your timeline with Wemby because he was so good on this team, and having Austin Reaves on this team from the start of this year could have helped us, especially with Vassell's injury and things like that. But I'm just not convinced he's actually that much of a huge difference maker that the Spurs would all of a sudden be a big-time playoff team with him, let alone at the end of his contract having the Spurs have to extend him for a bunch of money. I get it. He's a good player. But the Spurs timeline is much longer than just this year and next year, which is realistically the timeline where we would have had Austin Reaves if we had got him in 2023. And who knows, maybe the Spurs wouldn't be in this draft position this year to get another good player. I'm not sold on them calling him out like this. This to me is kind of crazy, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Are you still annoyed at this Austin Reaves thing? I'm more annoyed that we're getting called out over this because, yeah, you know what? Lakers. Look, Lakers. Austin Reaves, so good. Dropping points on Spurs' head. Call Spurs out. I don't love it. I don't think it makes too much sense. Maybe some of you disagree, though, and I'd love to hear from you down below because that'll do it for this episode of Spurs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching every single day. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you in the next one.